combination. Marriage is likely, if it is to happen, it will happen in the dasha of Ketu. And the Ketu dasha will start from 10th of May 2024, 2039 onwards. So I will straight away move to the transit chart. So transit chart, it is dasha. Fine. Now if it is Ketu dasha, it cannot be Ketu Bhukti. We have already discussed this point earlier also, that the same planet will be repeated only if it is a co-ruler of the primary cusp plus co-ruler of the supporting cusp. Now Ketu here is neither appearing in 5, nor appearing in 7, nor appearing in 11. Okay. And if I consider Ketu as Venus, then Venus is only appearing in 11, not in 5, not in 7. And if I assume Ketu to be Sun, Sun is neither in 5, nor in 7, nor in 11, which means by any means Ketu cannot be taken as the Bhukti Lord. Okay. Now then, we have discussed earlier also that for the purpose of Bhukti Lord, we have to focus upon which planet? The seventh sub-lord. And the seventh sub-lord is Saturn. One planet. Second planet is Mars. Third planet is Moon. So you have three planets, Moon, Mars, and Saturn. And any planet, the first option to have a Bhukti Lord is the planet which is the seventh cusp sub-lord, and all the planets which are present in the star of the seventh sub-lord. Now, what are the planets present in this star of seventh sub-lord? One is Moon, second is Mars, and there is no other planet. Any planet in the sub of Saturn, there is no planet. Okay, we will not go to switch over to sub-lord because sub-lord is the final decider. So focus our we will focus mainly upon the star lord and the sub-lord. So, what can be the probable planets which can act as Bhukti Lord? One is Saturn. Moon is in the star of Saturn. Moon can be a Bhukti Lord. And Mars is in the star of Saturn. Mars can be a Bhukti Lord. And if you look here, Moon, Mars, and Saturn are co-rulers of 7, as well as Moon, Mars, and Saturn are co-ruler of the 5th house. Moon is a co-ruler of the 11th house also. So, which means that either Moon or Mars, Rahu, which represents Mars, can also be a Bhukti Lord, or Saturn. So, either of these four planets, Moon, Mars, Rahu, and Saturn, can act as Bhukti Lords depending upon that the transit favors them. Because unless and until the transit is favorable, we cannot decide about the Bhukti Lord. And in the last so many lectures, I have focused upon the same thing. And here also, so I have four planets. One is Moon, second is Mars, third is Rahu, and the fourth one is Saturn, which can act as the Bhukti Lord. Which means the marriage in any case cannot happen before 13th of April 2026. And it can happen in a period from 13/4/2026 up to 14/5/2030, subject to condition that the transit favors the fructifying of the event. Okay, so I will substitute the date here 14/4/2026. 14/4/2026. 14/4/2026. Now moon becomes the bhukti. Moon, I've already pointed out, can become the bhukti lord. But the question here is that can we have moon as the bhukti lord? The answer will depend upon whether the transit of Saturn and Jupiter allows moon to be the bhukti lord or not. Are they in the favorable positions when the moon is acting as a bhukti lord? Now, if you look at Saturn, Saturn is placed in the sign of Pisces, whose lord is Jupiter. And Jupiter is having an involvement of 5, 7, 11. I've already discussed. It is having an involvement of 5, 7, 11. So I would say that the position of Saturn in Pisces is okay. Pisces sign is okay because if you look into the significations of Jupiter, Jupiter is involving 5, 7, 11. There are only how many planets? Four planets which are involving 5, 7, 11. One is Moon, second is Jupiter, third is Saturn, and fourth is Rahu. So the position of Saturn in this sign is okay. And Saturn is the seventh lord, positioned in 12th sign, lord of which is Jupiter. And Jupiter is strongly involving 5, 7, 11, which means that the sign of Jupiter for the transit of Saturn is okay, right? Now, the next question is about the transit of Jupiter. Now, the transit of Jupiter, if you look at the transit of Jupiter, Jupiter is transiting in the sign of Mercury. If you remember, Mercury has got PS, right?
Yes, sir.
Mercury with PS is a co-ruler of 6th and 12th.
That is not favorable then.
Yes, sir.
Day. Mercury, why Mercury is not favorable here? Because it is present in which house? 12th house. Okay. Now Jupiter here, the transit of Jupiter in the sign of Mercury would have been favorable had there been conjunction of Saturn with Jupiter. Either Jupiter should aspect Saturn or Saturn should aspect Jupiter. If you remember, I have been talking about the aspects in my previous
Yes, sir.
classes also, right? But in any case,
Shift
in this present
Jupiter
case,
Taurus.
the transit of Jupiter in this particular house and in this sign is not favorable, right? Do you have any questions to ask?
Yes, sir. So do we have to shift Jupiter to Taurus, sir? A Saturn aspect will be there.
This sign,
Hmm.
we can't do it now.
Bhukti
Why
will
we can't do
change.
it?
Bhukti will
The
change.
bhukti will change. We will
Oh,
have to make sun as the bhukti.
okay, okay.
That is why,
Then we have to forward it.
yes, we have to forward it. Now, the next point. If I forward it to the next house in the sign of Cancer, the Cancer sign is eighth to the sign of Jupiter. Jupiter will be transiting in a sign in which position? Eighth position to its own sign. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So if I forward it by 1 month each, yes, here it is. On 4th of June 2026, Jupiter will transit in Cancer sign, and Jupiter here is in what position to its own sign? Eighth position to its own sign. Am I right? From Jupiter, the ninth sign is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And from ninth sign, Jupiter is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it is transiting in a position 8th to its own sign. And if you remember, I have been pointing out time and again that the transit of slow moving present planets in position 8th or 12th to its own sign is not favorable. Okay, so the transit of Jupiter in 8th to its own sign will not be favorable, which means the transit of Jupiter in the sign of Cancer is not favorable.
Not fair.
Okay, now if it is not favorable, we will have to shift it over to which sign? The next sign.
Leo.
Okay, Leo sign. And if I do it, it is 2640. Here it is. Here it is. So it goes to Leo sign on 4th of July 2027. And the marriage cannot happen before 4th of July 2027. And if you look here, what is the bhukti I am getting here? Rahu. And I have already pointed out in the beginning that either I can have Moon or Mars or Rahu or Saturn as the bhukti lord. So Rahu is the bhukti lord, which means Rahu can be the bhukti lord. Okay. And if you look into the significations of Rahu involving 5, 7, 11, committing again by 5, 7, 11. Strong involvement. At the same time, it is having 6 and 12. 6 and 12 at the sub level, which means that there can be some kind of dispute between the two partners after the marriages has happened. So Rahu as Bhukti is okay. And then the Antra which I am going to have here when Rahu is acting as Bhukti on 4th of July 2027, that is Jupiter. Now the question is, can we have Jupiter as the Antra? Now before we find out that which is the suitable planet to act as the Antra Lord, first of all I'll have to check in the transit of Jupiter. Now, if you look at Jupiter here, Jupiter is transiting in the sign of Sun, star of Ketu, sub of Venus, and sub of Mars. Okay, and at the same time, Saturn, is aspecting its own house, the seventh house, right? Saturn is aspecting its own house,
Yeah, 10th aspect. 10th
10th
aspect.
aspect.
Yeah.
Okay, but Jupiter is in no way related to Saturn. Jupiter is aspecting seventh, eighth, and ninth
Jupiter
aspect of
ninth
Saturn.
aspect and Saturn is there. No,
No,
just
look
not
here.
Leo.
No, I'm just coming to that point. Jupiter, for the favorable, for the fructification of event, Jupiter should be connected to both Saturn as well as the seventh house. Okay. Now Jupiter here is connected to Saturn. It is okay, right? But the question is that can we have Jupiter as the Antra Lord? Can we have Jupiter as the Antra Lord?
So for Antara Lord, we used to fix the transit of Sun, no?
No, no, we will do it later on.
Okay.
First of all, we'll theoretically check out that which can be the suitable Antra. Okay. And then we'll see to the transit of Sun, right? because it is going to be a very long period na. You don't know. Rahu Bhukti starts from 4th of April 2027 and it will be up to 28th of April 2028, right? Rahu Bhukti will start from, I'm sorry, 11th of April 2027 and will extend up to 28th of April 2028, which means a 1 year time. And for this 1 year period of time, Sun will make a transit and will reach at the same point in the transit. Sun transits 1 month in each sign. So it will start from here and it will again come back to this place. So we have to find out that which among these positions has to be the favorable positions. Huh? Right? Is it okay? See, what I am telling is Rahu Bhukti will start from which date? 11th of April 2027 and it will go up to which date? 28th of April 2028. What is the time period? 12 months. 12 months and how many days? 17 days.
Yes, sir.
12 and a half months, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
If it is 12, if it is 12 and a half months and I have to fix the position here, then sun will start from here and will reach back to the same position.
Yes.
Okay, right?
Yes.
Now, before I do that, what I want to do is I want to further shorten this period. How do I shorten this period? That I can do by selecting a suitable antra. Now, how do I select a suitable antra on the basis of cuspal interlink theory? What are the conditions for any planet to become a antra lord? It should be a co-ruler of the primary cusp
Yes.
and should be a co-ruler of one or both the supporting cusp. And at the same time, the transit of sun should be in a favorable sign. Okay? Is it okay? These are the conditions, na?
Yes, sir.
Had Bhukti been moon, then Antara moon could have been repeated because moon is co-ruler of 5, co-ruler of 7, and co-ruler of 11. So here, Rahu cannot act as a Antara lord. If Rahu is not the Antara lord, then out of the remaining 8 Antaras, which are the suitable Antaras, I'll have to focus here. It can be Moon, Mars, and Saturn. So Saturn can be one, Moon can be the other, and Mars can be the third one. So among these, any of these three, out of any of these three planets, anyone can be an Antara lord. So let me first of all focus upon Saturn. Saturn will start on 28th of July 2027. So I make it as 29 July 2027. Okay, 29th of July 2027. When I do it, then Sun has shifted from third sign to the fourth sign. Okay, and is this transit of Sun okay? The transit of Sun in the sign of Cancer, is it okay?
No,
No,
sir.
sir. No,
No.
sir. It is
Why?
12
Because
to
it is
12 to
12 to its own sign. Okay, so I will have to further shift it to the next sign, right? To the Leo sign. When I fix it to the next sign, the Leo sign, then the Sukshma Lord which I am getting over here on 29th of August 2027, that is Sun. And sun cannot act as a Sukshma Lord. Why sun cannot act as a Sukshma Lord? Because sun is neither in 5, nor in 7, nor in 11. Okay? Now, if it cannot act as a Sukshma Lord, then which planets can act as Sukshma Lord? Moon is one, Mars is the other, and Rahu is the third one. Is it okay? I'll be coming to the exact position of Sun systematically by changing one by one. Only then I can find out the exact position. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Right? Any doubts? Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay. So then, if Moon is to be taken as the Sukshma Lord, then it has to be from 2nd of September 2027. Right? So, Moon will appear as the Sukshma Lord. Okay? Here, Moon appears at the Sukshma Lord. Out of Moon, Mars, and Rahu, we have to find out which is stronger. And now we have to focus that at which position the transit of Sun is going to be more favorable. Okay. So, is the transit of Sun in Leo sign okay? Answer is no. Why? Because Lord of Leo sign is Sun, and Sun is neither a co-ruler of 5, nor a co-ruler of 7, nor a co-ruler of 11. Okay? So I cannot take the transit of Sun in fifth sign to be
But
fructifying the event. जी
but he is in
कहिए.
his own sign, na, sir.
हाँ?
But he is in his own sign. In his
So what?
own sign, the planet gives a good strength, na, sir.
नहीं
No.
नहीं नहीं, ये तो ट्रांजिट में है ना. It is in
Okay, sir.
transit. It is in transit. It is not in natal position. It is in transit na. In natal position, it is in 10th sign, 10th house.
Okay, sir.
And the presence of sun in the 10th house will not allow the event to fructify. It is not very strong. And at the same time, sun is neither appearing in 5, nor appearing in 7, nor appearing in 11.
Okay, sir.
As
That
as
is
it is not a co-ruler of 5, 7, 11. So
that
the
is the
event
main that is the main point.
it will not fructify. Okay. Now from fifth sign, I will have to shift sun to the next sign. Right? I will have to shift sun to the sixth sign. Now, the lord of sixth sign is Mercury. Okay. And Mercury, is a co-ruler of 6 and 12. 6, 12. Right? Along with 10. Sub-lord of 10. So the event will not fructify as long as sun is here. Then I'll have to change sun from this sign to the next sign. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
I- If you have any doubt, kindly stop me and ask the question. Okay. So Sun will shift to the next sign, which is Venus. That is Lord of which is Venus. Okay. Right? Now, important point. If you look at Jupiter and Saturn, if you look at Jupiter and Saturn, both are Saturn is eighth to Jupiter. Now, this is an additional point. You can write it down, please. This is very important in transit of Saturn and Jupiter. Jupiter is now turned, it has turned eighth to Saturn. Saturn, I'm sorry, reverse way. Saturn is eighth to Jupiter. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, look here. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Saturn is appearing eighth to Jupiter, and Jupiter is appearing sixth to Saturn. And this situation will never allow the event to fructify. Whenever Saturn and Jupiter are 812 to each other, they will also not allow the event to fructify. Please note it down. This is very important. What are the important points in transit? The transit of planets 8th or 12th to their own sign will not allow the event to fructify. The transit of Saturn and Jupiter 8 and 12 to each other will also not allow the event to fructify. So since here Jupiter is now Saturn is 8th to Jupiter and Jupiter is 6th to Saturn, it will not allow the event to fructify. So this means at this particular date, as Saturn has reversed from the 10th house back to the ninth house, and it has turned out to be 8th to Jupiter, thereby it will not allow the event to fructify, and we will have to move the Jupiter to which sign? The next sign. Now, before I proceed further, any question, please? Any doubts?
Is it 6 8? Saturn is 8th to Jupiter, then
Yes,
Jupiter is 6th. Suppose Jupiter is 8th to Saturn, vice versa
it
also.
will not allow. Yes,
It,
vice versa. Vice versa also. It will
6
not
8,
allow the event to happen.
6 8 it will not.
Jupiter is the 6-8 or 8-12. Whatever
Ha,
it is not allow the event.
it will not allow the event.
Yes.
It, it, it is very, very important. It is very, very important. The position of Saturn 8 to Jupiter or the position of Jupiter 8 to Saturn, the event will not fructify. It's a rule of transit. It's a rule of double transit, but I will not say double transit. It's a rule. It's a rule in cuspal theory, what we have been talking about. See here, we are focusing upon two transits which are important. First is the transit of Saturn, and second is the transit of Jupiter. It is only when Saturn and Jupiter transit is okay, then only the event will fructify. Otherwise, it will not. Now, here the position is such that it will not allow the event to fructify, and the event will not fructify. So, I will have to change Jupiter from Leo sign to the next sign, and Jupiter here is 24 degrees 31 minutes, so I'll have to change it by few months. It now goes to which sign?
Virgo.
Virgo. And now it will allow the event to happen because both Saturn and Jupiter are not 8 and 12 to each other. Okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Right? So Bhukti again remains the same, but the Antara has changed to which? Venus. And
Sir, if
I already,
aspect is the sixth, if aspect is the sixth also, it's also will not given us, sir.
which one?
Each other. Jupiter and Saturn, if aspect sixth aspect is there each other, it is also will not give the result, na, sir.
How? It is seventh aspect. Where it is sixth aspect?
No, sir. In case of sixth aspect also, it will not give result. Na. I'm just asking, sir.
हाँ वो तो we have to look into the position of Saturn and Jupiter with respect to each other.
Okay, sir.
If Jupiter is in 12th position, suppose Jupiter was here in the 11th sign, it is in 12th position to Saturn, event will not fructify. If Jupiter is here in the Aries sign and Saturn is 12th to Jupiter, it will not allow the event to fructify. Okay, so the position of Jupiter in 10th house and ninth house with respect to in 8th house with respect to Saturn, it will not allow the event to happen. Okay, now take the case of Saturn. If Saturn is in Leo sign, Jupiter in this Virgo sign, event will not happen. If Saturn here is in the Libra sign, Jupiter in the Virgo sign, event will not happen.
So basically, sir, they can't be 212 to each other and 68 to each other.
6 8 to each other.
212,
Okay.
68 is prohibited.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, in simple words, I said 12 to each other.
It's called as Shastastra also, I think.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Shashtashtika and 212, I don't know.
You can say it like that. 212. 212, right? 6 8 212. Okay.
Finally, 6
So
8 12.
now here both are in perfect positions, and they can allow the event to happen. And look at Sun. It has moved to which sign? Sagittarius. We started from which sign? Gemini, and it has switched, gone to which sign? Sagittarius sign. And here now the antara which we are having on 23rd of December 2027, that is Venus. And if you remember, Venus cannot be the antara lord. What are the antara lords we can have? It is either Moon or Mars or Saturn, right? So Venus is the co-ruler of 11th house. Venus is in the star of Sun, neither in 5 nor in 7 nor in 11. So Venus cannot be the antara lord. Sun cannot be the antara lord. We are left with only two antras. One is Moon and the other one is Mars. Okay, which means that the marriage of this native can happen from 5th of March 2028 to 28th of April 2020. Okay, is it okay? Should I change the timings here now?
Yes,
Should
sir.
I change the date? Being a Yantra lord, the first condition is that it has to be a co-ruler of the primary cusp. Antara, Sukshma, Prana, all the three have the same rule. It has to be a co-ruler of the primary house. First condition. The second point is that besides being the co-ruler of the primary house, it should have either one or all the supporting houses. It should be co-ruler of one supporting house or all the supporting houses, right? And what is the third point which is important? That the transit of Sun should be favorable when you are selecting the antra. Suppose the transit of Sun is favorable when Sun is being taken as the antra, we will say it can act as the antra lord. You get my point? Because transit is very important. Which planet is appearing? Theoretically, Venus is not possible, Sun is not possible. The transit of Sun in this house, whether it is favorable or unfavorable, I will say it is not favorable. It is not favorable.
Moon only.
We have to go to Moon or it is Mars. It is Moon or it is Mars.
First moon check. We'll check moon and then go to Mars.
Then we'll go to Mars. Okay. So then, now Moon Antra starts from 5th of March 2028. It is, I will put here 6th of March 2028. 2028. Okay. Now it is Moon Antra. If it is Moon Antra, I can have Moon as the Sukshma. Why Moon can be present as the Sukshma Lord?
So
Because Moon
strong
is the co-ruler
significator.
of
Yeah.
strong significator. It's a co-ruler of 5, 7, and 11, all the three houses. So it can be repeated. Okay? It can be repeated. It can be repeated. Moon Sukshma can be repeated. Right? So 6/3/2028, Moon Sukshma can be repeated. Okay. Then, which is the suitable prana lord? Among all these,
We
then
should select
again,
Mars because it
Mars
hasn't
can be
appeared
selected.
till
Mars
now.
can be selected.
Yeah.
Mars can be selected, Rahu can be selected, Saturn can be selected. So in any case, the marriage will be either on 5th,
In 2028, maybe March 5th,
maybe Moon,
5th
maybe
or
Mars, maybe
Mars
Saturn.
or Saturn.
It means either on 5th or on 6th, either on 5th or on 6th. Okay, it can happen either on 5th of March 2028 or it can happen on 6th of March 2028. On 5th of March after 1350 hours up to 6th of March 2148 hours. So any time in between these two, in between these 2 days, the marriage can happen. Right? And now if you look at the transit of Sun, Sun is transiting in which sign?
Aquarius,
Aquarius. Lord of Aquarius is
Saturn,
Saturn is Lord of which house?
seventh house.
So it is okay. First point. Second point, Jupiter is aspecting
Yes, sir.
Sun. Okay. Now, when you have a condition like this, when there are no planets present in the fifth house, seventh house, and 11th house, then the transit of planets in the Lord of seventh house or in the seventh house is of prime importance. If it is suppose cross that time, then another favorable point is it has to be in the Lord of fifth house or the fifth house itself. And if that has crossed, then the third option is the 11th house. So the sign 8 Lord is Mars, sign 10 Lord is Saturn, and sign 2 Lord is Venus. So the transit of Sun in the signs of Mars, in the sign of Saturn, and in the sign of Venus is okay when no planets are present in 5th, 7th, and 11th houses. So here, Sun is transiting in which house? 8th house. Okay. And Lord of this house is Lord of 11th sign is Saturn. Saturn is Lord of 7th house. Therefore, the transit of Sun in this particular sign is okay. Right? Is it okay? Now, the transit of Moon in this sign is not okay.
But sir, Jupiter has gone back to Leo.
No problem. We have already fixed
Jupiter
Jupiter.
is aspecting Saturn also.
Uh,
That is
Ju-
also.
it has gone to see Jupiter is aspecting Saturn, na? 7th,
Yeah.
8th, and ninth.
Uh,
Okay. So the aspect is there. And there is no 6-8 relation. One, two,
so
three,
Jupiter,
four, five.
but Sun is not a strong significator. So Jupiter's transit in
No, no,
Leo
no, no,
sign.
no. What we are doing is, see, Sun is not appearing in as Dasha, Bhukti, Antara, Sukshma, and Prana. Sun is nowhere present here. We are simply looking at the transit of Sun, that in which particular sign the sun should transit so as to fructify the event. So the fructification of event can happen when Sun will transit in Mars, transit in signs, Lord of which is Mars, transit in signs, the first preference, transit is sign, the Lord of which is Saturn, transit is sign, the Lord of which is Venus. Okay, so the transit of Sun in fifth house, seventh house, eighth house, 10th house, 11th house is favorable position. Now your question, please.
Generally, there is a saying in South, I don't know what not. For men, the Mars should be favorable for marriage, and
No,
for
no, no.
girls, Venus should be favorable.
It
Here
is
we
for
have Mars,
it
so
is for women. It is for women, not for men. For men, Venus.
vice
Venus
versa.
is
Yeah,
the
it is
karka.
opposite.
Opposite, I am saying.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Venus for men and Mars for
yeah,
Women.
Mars for women.
Venus is.
See, dear, okay. Venus is present in which house? 10th house. right?
Yes, sir.
Now, from this, the favorable position for transit of Jupiter is fifth to this. Fifth to this is second house. Seven to this, fourth house. And nine to this, sixth house. And eventually the 10th house. And where is Jupiter transiting at the moment? Second
Second
house,
house.
right? Second house, which is fifth to Venus. Okay. Are you getting this point or not?
Yes, sir, got it.
Sir,
Saturn Venus
look at
conjunction is there.
Jupiter.
Fifth
Jupiter is aspecting Venus. And whenever there is an aspect by Jupiter on the Karka planet, the event is likely to fructify. It's a good sign for the event to get fructified,
okay, sir.
right?
For the male.
Now here, the next point was that the transit of moon in this position is not favorable. Why? Because it is
12th to Cancer.
12 to
12 to Cancer. So what we'll have to do? We will have to shift moon from Gemini to Cancer sign. It is there, right? Now moon here will be conjunct with Ketu, right? And the more favorable position for transit of moon will be when it is along with Jupiter in this sign. So I will again change it. This position is more favorable, and the date is 9th of March 2028. And 9th of March 2028, we'll be having Ketu as the prana lord. 9th of March, not Ketu, because 21 hours I have written here. And moon goes to this sign on 9th of March. So it will be either Mercury or it is Ketu. Is it okay? The transit of moon in this position is okay. The transit of moon in this position is okay. In both the positions, it is okay. In Cancer sign as well as in Leo sign. So the tentative date for the marriage is either it is, you know, it will be 8th 8th of March, or it can be 9th of March. So either 8th of March or it can be 9th of March. And now here Sukshma has automatically changed from moon to
moon to
Mars.
Mars.
It is equally strong Sukshma. So this is the approximate date for the marriage of the native. Now your questions, please.
Sir, one request.
Prana Lord will be Mercury, sir.
See, if
Mercury
if we
or
are getting
Ketu.
close to the date, I can say what I will say. I will not say it will happen on 9th. I will say marriage can happen any day between 5th of March up to 9th of March.
Very
Yes,
okay.
yes. So we will not tell the exact date, but we will say that this is the approximate time period during which the marriage can happen. Because
Sir,
here Mars can be Sukshma. हाँ जी बोलिए बोलिए कहिए
sir, one thing, sir, simple request.
जी
In my opinion,
जी yes. I'm unable to hear